All right, guys, let's check out this very cool, actually we have three really cool Seiko divers on the table, but the one I want to show you for this video is this guy here, the metal bezel mm200R, or I mean, we nickname these watches, right? So this is the original mm200 style case that came out back in the background. I'll do some side-by-sides. And then this one came out later, and this particular one is called the sbdc125. I believe there's another part number out there as well, but this one is the sbdc125, 143,000 yen, or if you go over on Lume, which is actually where this one was picked up, my buddy Doug bought this and then sent it in. And Lume, they're like 1170, so 1,170 US dollars. But the big difference is the case size on this. Well, and the movement. The movement's different as well. But the case size is different on these two, and I'll probably do a separate video kind of showing that, but I will show them side by side in this video. But let's just talk about this one primarily today. So 42 millimeter case for the complete width here. The bezel is like 40.5. As you can see, it kind of cushion cases out. And lug to lug, you have about 48.5, depending on where you grab the measurement. Drilled lugs, you can see a nice clean curved case design. Offset crown at about the 4 o'clock. 20 millimeter lug width. Bracelet tapers down to 18. The thickness on it is 13.3. So not bad at all on the thickness. I think I even counted this little guy here, which if you deducted that, that's like a 0.5 mil. But nice bracelet. It's going to be pin and collar design, so might be used to that. And a full milled center section of the clasp. 4 micro adjust double pushers. And it has the cool, I like it anyway, the longer fold-over clasp there. Little cleaner profile on the wrist, for sure. So, nice bracelet, nice case. Sapphire crystal using the 6R35 movement, which is a slight upgrade from the 6R15 that's in the one in the background there. That's a SBDC, actually that's an SPB, but anyway. We'll do a separate video, like I said, on that. Non-signed crown. If you zoom in on this bad boy here, you're going to see kind of a matte black dial. Those indices look like they're applied, but they're actually pressed in from the backside. And then lume filled. You have a nice clean handset there, brushed on half of it, polished on the other, so it catches the light pretty wild. And then you have that very cool, what do you call that, like a stoplight type thing or something? I don't know what we call those for the second hand. Date cutout at 3 o'clock. With the indice, loomed indice still right off to the side of there. This one has a little mark on the metal bezel, so that is something to take into consideration, that the potential for marking up the metal bezel insert is definitely there. I like it though. I think it's a nice clean look, nice coin edge on that. And look at the finishing on this. Now this does have Dia-Shield on it, so it has a little bit different tone to the metal. But I like that instead of just going to the point, which I'll show you on the other case, they actually kind of gave it a nice brushed relief point. I think it adds a lot of character or dimension to the case, and it's on both sides of the case, obviously. All right, let's zoom back out. Let's check this bezel action. 120 click, kind of standard Seiko fare. It's when you're spinning it, you're going to pull it back into position. Everything should line up on these guys. There's no like chapter ring with printing on it. It's got more of a riot, and then the hash marks are actually on the dial. So also pretty, a little more consistent with the quality control should be expected in a design like this, because there's just less room for error. Basically, it's a cleaner look, it's a cleaner design, and it just works good. Now this one's not sized for my wrist. So with all the links in here, it weighs in at 186 grams. So decent weight to it. Let me pop it on wrist. And I was playing around with both these, and I gotta say, I think I kind of prefer the reduced, this one, over the more traditional one. And as much as I like the large arrow hour hand on the other one, I think I like this handset better. So I pretty much like everything a little bit more on this watch versus the other one. So I've read up that the Lume is not as good on these newer models, so we'll test that as well. But here you can see, I'm trying to hold them at about the same plane. You can see the one on the left, the quote original mm200 that we all kind of named, is definitely larger. It's 43.75 by 50 essentially, and then it's about the same thickness, so it's just kind of, it spreads it out a little bit more on your wrist. So if your wrist can pull it off, then this guy will definitely work for you. So. And then it has where it just comes full polished, and the edge of the case just kind of comes to a point almost, instead of that brushed breakup of the case on the reduced model here. But so whatever your preference is, and they both weigh about the same. So the big difference is just this one's a little bit smaller. So if you have a little bit smaller wrist, or just prefer a smaller watch, then I think this would be your choice. So here it is next to the SKX. Just for a good reference, SKX, they're a little bit harder to get right now for a reasonable price, or one that's not potentially like a Franken watch or something. It's not the same watch, but it's. I think you could maybe upgrade. It's not as iconic as the SKX, but it's still really cool, really good watch, and I believe there's some decent colorways of it. So maybe something to look at if you're, hunting for an SKX. Who am I kidding? The SKX, you're not going to be able to do it. Like, if you think you want an SKX, you better get one. I'm trying to convince myself and you that you could maybe just go to this guy instead of that. If you want an SKX, you better just get one. These are just over $1,000. On the used market, you're probably going to take a couple $100 hit on it or something. They're going to be under $1,000, but very cool, fun watch. There's so many really good Seiko divers out there. Let's kill the lights and check the lume on this thing. Actually, we'll check the lume on all three. So here's the sbdc125. You can tell the hands are the main thing. And then, yeah, I think the lume's a little bit better on the previous gen. It's larger indices, a little bit larger hand, and then I just feel like the lume is a little more potent. And then here it is with the SKX. The SKX is probably closer to the mm200 reduced. I think the one on the far left, the mm200 style one, is definitely the champ out of these three in this little category. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Doug for sending this in. I'll catch you on the next vid.